You're listening to Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. NFL, NBA news, and more coming to you right now. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports podcast with me, Lucia. So, yes, this episode is up a little late. Technical difficulties. I actually recorded this halfway through the week, and then I updated my computer, and I didn't save it properly. Technology and I at the moment are not working very well together. We're like in a massive battle over who's going to actually come out on top. So far, technology is leading the way. Anyway, so the rundown is going to be the same as last week, except we're going to add the NBA predictions into it. So it's going to be last week's storylines, contenders or pretenders. So I'm just going to pick 4 teams and I'm going to say whether they're contenders or pretenders. And then we're going to go for news for both the NBA and the NFL, NBA predictions, and then NFL Week 5. Last week's storylines. The Bucks versus the Pats lived up to the hype. So with this, I think Tom Brady was so confused when he was playing. Because if you look at it, he looked like he had no idea what was going on. And I think that he figured out there was a respect level on both ends. I think he finally respected what Bill Belichick brought to the table. And then I think Bill Belichick finally discovered what Tom Brady brings to the table, which is heart, drive, and determination. But you know what is the most stunning thing out of all of this? Is that the Bucks are 1-3. I never thought that not the Bucks, the Pats are 1-3. I am sorry, but yeah. Yeah, so they definitely did live up to the hype. And I am so happy and so proud that they did such a high number for the NFL. It just goes to prove time and time again that the NFL is king. Now, the New York Giants finally won a game. And they're giving me hope. This is a bad thing. When I get hope, they just take it away. And I've got hope. And this is not a good thing. It's not a good thing to give me hope. Giving me hope is like a death sentence to me. Because hope means that I have some faith. And I don't know whether I have faith in the Giants. I'm just so confused because I love them so much. So much. And they take it away from me every single time. Daniel Jones is a QB. I've always been a Daniel Jones fan. If you go back and listen to like last seasons, I was always on it. This is not on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a QB. Giants fans have a very short memory. And they don't remember when Eli first came in. He had a very shaky first couple of seasons. And then he went on a run. So I think we just wanted him to be the Eli. We wanted him to be Eli right away. We did not want him to have any sort of wiggle room or anything like that. But they're getting it together. And I love that. Justin Fields is officially the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Now, is this Matt Nagy's last attempt to try and save his job? I think it might be. But yeah, it's been a time for the Bears. I think it's about time that Bears fans and Bears Nation starts to rise, and you've got a good quarterback now. Like, no more of these Andy Daltons or Nick Foles or anything like that. Yeah, and I think Matt Nagy firing himself as a play caller, great job, great self-awareness, very good self-awareness there. The Chiefs win against the Eagles, and now they're 500. I still don't believe in the Chiefs. This is really funny because I don't think the Chiefs are going to win the division. I seriously don't. And I don't know whether they're going to get in as a wild card either. The Chiefs' defense sucks. Allowing the Eagles to score 30 points on you is... You're lucky, so lucky that the Eagles' defense is worse than before, so you guys could score 42. But allowing the Eagles, the bottom of the run, to score 30 on you, that's an issue. Anyway, Tom Brady is the all-time passing leader. So congratulations to Tom. I am so proud of him. I think that everybody should be. He's been a great ambassador for the sport, and I am so grateful that I live in the Tom Brady era. I think once he retires, we will all say the same thing. Thank the Lord we lived in the Tom Brady era, because we are witnessing the GOAT do his thing. We are witnessing that, and it's a good thing that we're finally witnessing it. Anyway, Big Ben is officially done. I reckon they're just going to wait till the end and beg him not to come back, beg him to retire, because he needs to be gone. He needs to be retired. Like, just cut the cord. He's a Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great. He needs to be retired. The Jets win with Zach Wilson. And this, I think, is going to be a good start for the Jets. However, I'll be cautious to Jet fans. Don't get your hopes too high. You ruined Sam Darnold. You're most likely going to ruin Zach Wilson. You ruined Mark Sanchez. You ruined Geno Smith. It's a constant thing. Jets quarterbacks don't do well. And talking about quarterbacks, on the Thursday night game, we have an injury to Russell Wilson, who had to have surgery on his finger and is out 6 to 8 weeks. So my prayers are up to Russell Wilson. Hopefully everything can be fine. And prayers up to you. Yeah, that's a tough one. The Seahawks' chances of getting into the playoffs now are severely dimmed, because they've got Geno Smith as their quarterback. Yeah, it's not a good situation, not up in Seattle, but I'll explain that later in next week's episode. So let's get into the segment of contenders or pretenders. So I've got 4 teams, and I'm going to explain to you whether I think that they are a contender or a pretender. Contenders are... I'm defining contenders as not Super Bowl favorites, but playoff contenders, and then pretenders are the ones where their record does not actually match what they're doing. So we've got the Arizona Cardinals, the undefeated Arizona Cardinals, with the Mighty Mouse, Kyler Murray, doing what he does best, flinging that football all over the place. He is my height at 5'10", and he is tiny. And yet he sees over defenses, and it's incredible. I genuinely think that they're contenders. In my thoughts, I think 3 teams from the NFC West are going to be able to make the playoffs. I just think that. So yeah, I reckon the entire NFC playoffs could be between the NFC West and Tampa Bay and the Packers, and I think the entirety of the NFL would be okay with that. So yeah, I think they're contenders. I think that they are going to win the division, which is something that I never thought I'd say. The Arizona Cardinals are going to win the division, and they're contenders, definite contenders. The Dallas Cowboys, I think their record actually doesn't match what they are. They're 3-1. I don't think that they're a 3-1 team. If you put them side by side with the Rams and the Dallas Cowboys, up until Thursday night they had the same record. The Rams are so much better. And I understand that you have to play the opponent that you're given. But the Dallas Cowboys are not as good as what people are thinking. They're the biggest pretenders. And I'm glad that they are, because we're in the same division and I hate the Cowboys with a burning passion. So yeah, I'm thinking that they are pretenders. The Baltimore Ravens, they are the biggest contenders. I see them actually going to the AFC Championship game. I don't see them winning it. I've still got the Browns winning it. But even with Baker Mayfield's shoulder, I still got them winning it. Yeah, they're the biggest contenders. The AFC North has literally just changed upside down, because I think the next thing I'm going to mention, the Cincinnati Bengals, are winning it. They are so good. And I think because they're the Bengals, we haven't actually given them the due that they deserve, because they're the Bengals. But they are so good. They are literally what you would expect the Steelers to be. But they've actually got a really good quarterback in Joe Burrow. He is that dude. It's like, you know when you've got a quarterback and you're like, you trust that person with every single bit of your soul? I would trust Joe Burrow with every single little bit of my soul. Every single little bit of it. Not one little bit out of turn. But yeah. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens are both contenders. So let's get into some news of the week. We have the Cowboys releasing linebacker Jalen Smith. He is signed, and then he has signed with the Packers. So that's a big pickup for the Packers. I think that he is going to be a very good part of their defense, because the Packers defense still needs to pick up their play a little bit more. Jimmy G is injured again. Trey Lance has been named the starter for the 49ers, but this is literally like a rotating thing. It's Jimmy G plays well. We think that he's going to do really well. He looks like a good, competent quarterback. He gets injured. Repeat the cycle over and over again. And I think that is why the 49ers drafted Trey Lance, because they couldn't rely on Jimmy G to be healthy the entire year. And at that point, you're just paying for two quarterbacks. That's what you need to do. If you remember when Jimmy G took over from Tom Brady for those 4 games that Tom was suspended for Deflategate, he got injured in the second game. And it's just, you've got to be reliable. And he is so injury prone. And even Jimmy G said in the post-game press conference that this happens every year and he's sick of it. I think that Jimmy G needs to get on TB12. My personal thought. The Patriots traded cornerback Stephon Gilmore to the Panthers for a 2023 6th round pick. Now that's an interesting one, because the Patriots were going to release him, and then he could go to where he wanted to. But the Panthers came in at the last minute and offered a 2023 6th round pick. And I'm excited. The Panthers have literally said, we can win. The Panthers are building around Sam Darnold like they're the ones that drafted him. They're doing what the Jets should have done for Sam. And I'm so happy for them. Give Tom Brady and the Buccaneers like a little bit of run for their money. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this all fits around to come playoff time. Broncos quarterback Teddy Bridgewater got a concussion. He's out for this week's game. I am so upset with that because Teddy Bridgewater was playing really well. But now we've got Drew Lock. Broncos fans are like, yay, let's throw a party. We've got Drew Lock. Woo! It's a bit like that. Like whenever your quarterback gets injured, you're like, yep, and now the season's completely done. It'll be interesting to see when Teddy Bridgewater comes back. Urban Meyer got himself into some hot water this week. Really hot water. And it's an interesting topic to discuss. I think the whole thing is that he didn't catch the team playing with them. I think if he called the team playing and then said, look, we need to have some separation, he could have gone back on a plane and gone back up to Ohio. But he didn't go back from Ohio to Jacksonville with the team. I think that is where he's lost it. That he's lost the locker room a little bit. I don't want to comment on anyone's personal life because that's just not what I do. I don't comment on people's personal life, but he's definitely got himself into some hot water and needs to re-earn the locker room. The Nets still unclear with what's going on with the Kyrie's vaccination status. So he's allowed to train in the facility because it's considered a private business. Don't get me started on the hypocrisy there. I think that Mayor de Blasio made a horrible mistake making an exception for one guy. But yeah, Kyrie. So from what I've heard within the media and online is that KD is growing closer to wanting to get Kyrie traded. I heard somewhere that they compared Kyrie to the Kanye of the NBA. And that's true. That is so true. It's amazing how true that is. The NBA players will not get tested for weed. Great! That'll be great. Pau Gasol, my number 16, who I love so much, retires after 19 years and 2 championships. He was incredible teammate to Kobe, an incredible guy just in general to Kobe's family. Like, he has taken on like the father role in that family so much, and I am so happy that Pau has taken upon himself to be like that, to be a good family member to Vanessa and the 3 other girls. Now another Laker, Trevor Ariza is injured and out for 8 weeks with a slight tear in his ankle. Prayers up to Trevor. He's had successful surgery, so we can assume that it's going to get better. Ben Simmons still on the trading block, still on Trade Watch. It's day 100 and whatever of Ben Simmons on Trade Watch. I will keep you updated with that. Now, in a funny story is that a false alarm in the Bucks-Grizzlies game called it to be suspended. That's just funny to me. I love it when false alarms ruin havoc for everyone. That could just be me. Anyway, let's get on to NBA predictions. So, the Western Conference Finals, I think, are going to be between the Lakers and the Suns. The Eastern Conference Finals between the Bucks and the Nets. That's my prediction. I will do later on this week. I will go through like MVP, preseason MVP, Rookie of the Year, all those like the individual awards. But thought I'd just give you like an overhead. And then in the NBA Finals, I think it's between the Lakers and the Nets, and I think that is something that we're all going to look forward to, especially me. Actually, I think I might be the only one that looks forward to that, because I think the Lakers have got a really good shot this year. But that could just be my own little bias, because I am a Lakers fan. Anyway, week 5 in the NFL. So I actually did predict the Rams to win. So yeah, the Rams clearly won. Then we've got the Falcons and the Jets. I'm going with the Falcons, because you cannot rely on the Jets. You've got the Texans versus the Patriots. I am going with the Patriots. We've got the Vikings versus the Lions. I'm going with the Vikings. You've got the Panthers versus the Eagles. I'm going with the Panthers. You've got the Washington football team versus the Saints. I'm actually going to go with the Washington football team. After watching the game against the Saints are not what they used to be. Got the Jags versus the Titans. I am going with the Jags. I think after this week, they need to up themselves to a good status, and it's a divisional game, so funny things can happen in divisional games. Got the Bucks versus the Dolphins, the two Florida teams. I think the Bucks are going to win. Got the Bengals versus the Packers. I'm actually going to go with the Bengals. I know, I've got this love for Joe Burrow that I don't think a lot of people have. You've got the Steelers versus the Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos because I do not trust the Steelers at all. You've got the Raiders versus the Bears. I am going with the Raiders. You got the Chargers versus the Browns. I am still going with the Browns. I genuinely think that the Browns are a better football team than what their record says. And the Chargers are the best. Are going to win the division. They're going to win the AFC West. Definitely. Got the Cowboys versus the Giants. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did last week, which is pick against the Giants. I think that might work. That might be my thing, is if I pick against the Giants might win. Then we've got the Cardinals versus the 49ers. I am going with the 49ers because, again, it's a divisional game. I think divisional games, there is just a lot of missing stuff that goes into it. I don't know. I don't think that I explained that well, but there we go. We've got the Chiefs versus the Bills, the AFC title game from last year again. I'm going with the Bills. I think the Chiefs have been caught out. I think that the rest of the competition is going to start to level them out. And then we've got the Ravens versus the Colts. I'm going with the Ravens because I do not trust the Colts at all. So that is all for this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports Podcast with me, Lucia. So I'll catch you all next week. Bye.